and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. Today's video is sponsored by our Amazon affiliate link, which you'll see in the comments section below. Today I'm going to show you about staking plants. And staking plants is an important thing to do, especially for looks, but also for the growth of the plant. If a plant is leaning quite a bit, it can pull on the root system, which isn't good for the plants. So that's one thing to consider. Also, plants, when you elevate a stem, it can get better lighting that way as well. So that's another good reason to stake plants. And it also, as I mentioned, just makes the plant look better. So this is a really cool plant. This is a ZZ plant. Love this plant, so easy to grow. Now you can see that this one is drooping a bit, this particular branch, this branch in particular. So I am going to stake this, get it up, so that you can then see it a bit better, what it looks like. Now what you want to do when you are staking plants is you want to look for a stake that is almost to the top of what you're staking. So you see this one's too short. I think my best bet is going to be this stake. There are bamboo stakes, there's a lot of wooden stakes. You can also get metal stakes. I'm putting this one in about here. Now, you can, if you want, let the plant rest on the stake. However, you will find after a while that it's going to fall at some point. So it's best to secure it. You want to secure it, generally speaking, in 3 spots. So I'm going to do that. Now you can use, I generally like to use green tie tape. It's a tie tape that is, you'll see here, you can even pull on it. You can cut it, but you can also just pull on it. It stretches, so it stretches with the plant. This is important. You don't want to attach the plant stem to anything like wire or even string, because it can cut into the plant stem. It will girdle the plant stem, which means it will cut off its circulation. So it's like putting a rubber band on your finger and it cuts off circulation. So you can lose that top of the plant, and if it's the main stem, you could even kill the plant. So you want to use something like the green tie tape. You want to start, you can either start at the bottom. A lot of times I like to start at the bottom. So start at the bottom and tie it. And usually you want to tie about 3 times. You want to give it some, that way it's stable. Tie it fairly close to the stem, like I'm doing here. Okay, and then you want to do the middle. Another piece for that. So right around the middle, depending, you don't want to be on top of a leaf. So I probably want to do more here. And then I'm going to do up top as well. So here's one more for up top. Right about up top, near up top here. You can stretch this as you need. You can tie it in a knot if you want. Right now I'm not doing that, but I may later. You can also clip these off so they're not so you can't see them so much. You can see it's growing nice and straight now, so that the plant looks a lot better. It'll get a lot better lighting that way. Another option you can use are these little clips, basically hair clips, which you can see here. Those also will work for this sort of thing. However, keep in mind when you do put them on to check them to make sure they're not girdling the plant. And they don't work for everything because they're relatively small. So for a bigger plant, you're going to need you would need a bigger one of these, and basically it would probably be easier just to use the green tie tape. So that's with this bigger plant. I'm going to show you with a small plant. So with this one, once again, we want to look for something that's going to be almost as tall as what you're doing. Taller than what you're doing, you can do as well, but then it's sticking out, which isn't that much of a problem because the plant will grow into it. just doesn't look as good. Here's one, still a little too tall. So you want to play around. You want to have a bunch of different stakes. This is a Chrysandra, really pretty plant that makes and it's got some bud on it here to make a really pretty orange blossom. Grows well indoors. Okay, so I've chosen this one. Now, another thing to keep in mind, you don't want to be poking everywhere when you're trying to stake. So you want to pretty much figure out where you're going to go and try to make as few stabs into the soil as possible, because that does disrupt the root zone. You want to get fairly close to the area that you want to stake. Generally speaking, you want to go in front of where the plant is leaning rather than behind. When you go behind, you're pulling it forward, you're pulling on the roots, and also with big plants, it tends to make it more not as stable. It would become more likely to tip over. But you have to kind of play around with it, because sometimes if the plant is very heavy leaning this way, you would want to pull it this way. But usually you want to do it in front. So I'm going to put this guy right in front, pretty near the root zone. If you have to strain too much, then you want to stop and find another spot. Okay, so it's in pretty securely. I'm going to wrap the plant, so you can do that. You can wrap the plant gently around where you're going. Now, for this one, I could try some of these little clips. See how it works. It is a faster way to do it, and it's holding it pretty good, and I can keep an eye on it. Do another one down below. And another one midway. Actually, I'm going to move this one up a tad. And then I am going to do this one midway. And you can see it's nice and sturdy, standing up straight. It's important for this plant too to get the correct amount of light, and you also, when you do this, the plants get light from all directions as opposed to where it's just laying down somewhere. Then when this blooms, which should be relatively soon, especially this one bloom here, then it's going to be, there's some more little blooms. Oops, that was an older one. So once it blooms too with it, the blooms you'll be able to see the blooms. It'll be a lot prettier that way too. So that is it on staking for today. Oh, one other thing too, when the bigger the plant, the thicker a stake you're going to need. You're going to be, right, you have some of those big tall trees for the house, that sort of thing, and indoor trees. You're going to want a pretty good size diameter stake for that. Obviously, one of these flimsy ones isn't going to do the trick for that. So plan for that when you're choosing your stakes. Well, that is it for today on staking plants. Thank you for stopping by. Please leave any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.